Welcome to Palo Alto, where we're here to do some special testing. Thanks to Rivian for the invite, by the way. Rivian is about to unveil something very special, and by now you already know they're rolling out their first version of what their software team has been up to with the car driving itself. Now, the suite of features that we saw today, they're all on cars that are shipping today, which I think is an important distinction. We'll talk about that a little bit in the video while you see us do the actual drive. But that kind of stuff is important to call out because there's nothing technically special about these cars that they're doing these tests on. Now, this is early development. This is an engineering build. This is not a public build. That stuff is coming later, but this is really just to highlight where are we today, kind of in a out of nowhere, unexpected way. And that's what's pretty cool about today's video. So like it, hate it, there's a lot to see here. And quite honestly, I was pretty shocked at how it did. Okay, so run me through it. We're gonna go do a little bit of city driving, yeah?
Yeah, just around Palo Alto.
Okay. And this is, do you guys have versions, like designations for the software yet, or not really?
Our software follows calendar versions.
Okay.
You know, there's an upcoming 2025.46. This is not that.
Okay.
So this is an engineering build of our early software that we're testing. So we're giving you a glimpse of.
System here.
Okay.
Heads up, the UI here is borrowing from our existing software, so that's really not the key point of it. The main point here is the driving capabilities.
Right.
That you have not seen from Rivian yet.
Right. All right, and so everything that we should expect, this is all going to be city streets then?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So that would mean nobody else is doing city streets, right? You'd be a second, right? Or one of two. Yeah?
Yeah.
And this is, there's nothing special about this particular car that a customer buying a car today, right?
This is a regular production Gen 2 car.
Perfect.
Yep.
Do you guys have an idea of rollout timing for this kind of stuff?
Not yet. There's going to be some more announcements tomorrow around this kind of stuff.
Got it. Oh, sweet. Were we playing roulette?
Yeah, wherever it takes us. So the driver display is displaying, I don't know, kind of not what you would intend to display there eventually. Is that what you're meaning to say?
Yeah, so the core focus is to show our new large driving model, how it drives.
What it's doing.
Yeah. The display is not fully up there yet because we, again, haven't productionized it yet.
Yeah.
The display is essentially a more recent version of production software.
Yeah, very cool.
Kevin, what do you think so far? We've gone down one street.
Yeah, maybe half
Maybe a little too early.
Too early to say, really, but we're successfully stopped at a red light. So,
Yeah.
And now going.
Yeah, so it sounds like what we're looking at today, I think the most important part of it is, regardless of what this loop ends up being, is this is a production car. And that's a really important distinction. This is what is shipping in customer cars that are buying today. And very nice. So there's no special hardware in this vehicle, meaning what we're experiencing right now could very well be the second car on the market to be able to do what we're doing right now for a consumer vehicle, which is pretty awesome.
I mean, I think it's kind of already, it answers a lot of questions in that maybe none of us knew exactly what Gen 2 software could do. We had an idea, but you never know. We've seen hardware needing to change for vehicles to do things like this, but being in an existing Gen 2 and having the city capability, yeah, I mean, it gives us a lot of confidence for sure.
Okay, let me turn this.
Slow down.
Yeah. Did a nice job. I don't know if you could see it on that camera angle, hopefully, because I was too slow.
And I mean, the theory of like really high camera quality should lead to better results. It's kind of what RJ has said, and additional sensors allowing the system to mature and progress faster. I think that's kind of cool.
Yep.
Yeah, and you guys have deployed AI to help accelerate this progress, right?
As in,
Using AI to help.
we're definitely using AI. So So what you're saying is an end-to-end model trained on a large-scale set of data
Right.
that we collect from customer
Yeah.
fleets and from engineering fleets, and
Yeah, I think that's... What's pretty crazy about that is to think of the speed of progress. We were just talking about this inside before we came out here, about just the power of AI and how quickly it can make these solutions come online. I'm actually kind of surprised so far. I was waiting for the jerky braking.
Yeah, it's smooth.
It's actually surprisingly smooth.
I'm always amazed that for some of us that have used an FSD type system or that are at least aware of the advancements in this kind of technology, how quickly you can get in like a Rivian doing this for the first time and you're like immediately comfortable with it. And that there's like not this huge learning curve to be comfortable or feeling safe.
Yeah.
Like we took a Waymo today for the first time and we just talked for an hour and there were no incidents. We get here fine. That's how I feel in this. And we have a lot of experience with FSD too. So it's pretty neat to see where this is going and how quick it's going, like you were saying, Justin.
Yeah, this feels a lot like the Waymo we just took. Similar kind of, other than it being one lane, it was 2 lanes the whole way for an hour, right?
Yeah.
Pretty similar.
So I've noticed like the last 2 weeks, the Gen 2s, like mine, are uploading a lot more data. So I don't know if you guys open a spigot of sorts, but a friend's car dumped 36 gigs the other day after a pretty long day of driving.
Nice.
So you're obviously, looking to speed things up even more.
So we are definitely accelerating. We put a lot of effort into setting up the basic infrastructure there, and to set up the capability to upload data from the network. We are getting to the point where we are becoming a little bit more selective so that we don't collect too much from certain folks. We are. There's a lot of fun infrastructure set up to do this kind of stuff. We have the ability to send static triggers that go with software releases, but we also have the ability to send what we call dynamic triggers. So we can kind of almost in real time live query the fleet and ask it for certain types of data. We had an example where, when it comes to, like, for example, blinker uses, people don't use blinker when they should most of the time. We would like our car to do it. So we collected data specifically around that. Give me cases where the car takes a right turn and is using a blinker and there's a pedestrian close by. You can send this kind of query, and then within a couple of days you get like tens of thousands of examples of that particular behavior.
Amazing. And is the idea to get to a hands-free point and use camera monitoring from the mirror to like have driver attention as opposed to needing a hand on the steering wheel?
That's already part of our existing product roadmap, and I don't see why we would be changing that for this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here's an interesting one. So we've got a yield right here, and this one took a long time for.
So we intentionally fine-tuned the model to stop for right on rights.
Yeah, for sure. I was just wondering if it was going to go after it stopped, but
Yeah, so this is an example where we actually intentionally wanted to do something different than human driving. This intersection is pretty tricky. People go down this way probably at like 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And the reason we chose this route.
Yeah, even as a human driver, it's hard to see.
Yeah.
It's like a blind spot. With people
Some
coming
trees and
really
whatnot,
fast.
too.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it was a good place to exercise
Yeah.
this technology where we can actually get majority of the driving behavior for humans, but also fine tune it to be specific to what we would like our product to do.
Yeah. And now the speed at which the car is going, I keep noticing, is definitely on the low side. Is that a setting that you guys have that you can turn it up to be more aggressive, or is it kind of one speed at the moment?
So right now, in this particular build, all of the speed is fully emergent from the model.
Okay.
So it does not even follow the set speed set on the UI.
Okay.
Obviously, that will likely change once we make it a product. But in early days, we intentionally did not do anything specific with that because we wanted it. We wanted to see how the model behaves.
Yeah.
And so far,
Merge.
one of the really nice behaviors is that it emergently picks up the speed that is appropriate for the road.
Yeah.
Pretty good merge.
That was a pretty good merge. Yeah.
Little throttle.
Yep. Yeah. I gotta. It's hard to explain, but it's almost. It's a lot more refined than I was expecting, I guess. Just not as harsh around the edges as I was expecting getting in here.
Yeah, it's like cautious, smooth, similar to Waymo.
Yeah. Yeah, very similar to Waymo. I think I still feel that's what this is very much like.
I'm glad we took it today.
Yeah.
We don't quite have them in Orlando yet.
Which is crazy.
This is the case that we didn't quite nail. We took a right on red here. So our fine tuning is not perfect.
We'll
yet.
say you permitted it to do
Yeah.
it. And it did it successfully, I should say.
Yeah, so the model itself felt a level of confidence. Yeah, so the model itself is making decisions to some degree on level of confidence in these intersections, which is interesting to see because it's giving us different results based on those intersections, which is cool.
So this is the kind of thing where, for a tech demo, a tech build like this, we want to observe all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But for a final product release, we would button it up and
Sure.
make sure that it's very
Sure.
consistent.
So how are you using data in the fleet that's out there right now? So you're just pulling up data and you're just looking for certain detected situations that cars are driving in and pulling that data or querying for that?
Yeah, so we have a variety of miners. The simplest being just random every once in a while to get a sense of distribution. But we have earlier I described what is kind of like what we call heuristic miners, where you give it a couple of rules like right turn and blinker is on and stuff like that. And then we also have learned miners, where the model gives it some sense of how confident it feels about the scene or how interesting the scene is. And the model gives us insight if we should collect the data or not.
It's really interesting how cautious it's being around here because we've had a biker, a pedestrian. It's kind of hard to tell which way she's going, and of course all these cones. We've got cones navigating us around. So it's cautious, but it's confident, if that makes sense. I'm just having flashbacks of the early days. Like, remember V10? Like,
Yeah.
just the, like it just wasn't quite sure what to do in that split moment. Yeah.
Pulsing. A lot of jerky steering
Yeah.
that we're not.
Yeah, I'm
It's
actually
smooth.
really shocked. Yeah.
It's very smooth.
Yeah, to me, it seems more of a question of accuracy of decision making and confidence in those decisions it's making. So we're getting ready to do, looks like a U-turn once we get out here, which will be cool to see.
So this actually just started happening last time. So it's going to take a left turn here. So what you're seeing here is a route coming from Google Maps. The car does its own routing internally, so there's slight differences in the map to use. So I don't know if Google changed something in their routing algorithm last night.
Got it.
So,
Yeah.
but anyway, there are slight differences there.
And you may not be able to say anything. This might be for tomorrow, but will you guys take a utilizing AWS approach for compute processing this, or would you look to do that internally in an unsophisticated way? Everyone loves buying NVIDIA chips. Where's Rivian? You going to use the big brother Amazon or both?
I'd follow up with James on this.
Sounds
He's
good.
more involved in some of these deals. I'm really just heads down making it work.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
And then I guess another question would be, what do you foresee coming with R2? So you'll have presumably a fleet that's a multiple larger over the coming years with R2 rollout, right? So surely that's a pretty pinnacle, important cornerstone of the development of this software, right?
Yeah, R2 is going to be huge for us. I mentioned before we're starting to dial back a little bit on the amount of data because we anticipate the fleet to grow. So we're looking into it. But in terms of features and coverage, it should be the same across the board. So we anticipate all of our features to work on R2 as well.
Have you guys rolled this out in an R2? Does it behave similar, or are there enough differences in the dimensions of the car itself and the sensor locations?
Not this particular build. We have tested our regular production features in R2, and so far we're not seeing differences between them.
Yeah. So what do you think, Kevin? You own 2 Rivians.
Yep. Well, I think that, and I've owned like 10 Teslas.
Yeah.
What's important is that I think Rivian's angle is to create features that are useful and make the customers want to buy them. And it doesn't have to do all of our driving for it to be very useful. And I think that's kind of what I'm seeing. And knowing, like I got a Gen 2 like 3 weeks ago, and part of my hedged bet was that it could do a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm personally happy that
Yeah.
it's not obsolete. There are kind of some rumors maybe Gen 2 R1 wouldn't be able to handle city and yada yada fully, but it can. So as an owner, I'm happy. And it was incredibly smooth. I mean,
Shockingly smooth. Yeah, a lot smoother than I certainly expected. And I think the other thing too, I think you hit the nail on the head with the useful features that customers want to buy, right? Does it have to be 100% from driveway to destination in the parking lot? Or while people are still owning cars, is going from, hey, I can drive to the road right there. Is that enough to get me to the neighborhood? Is that what customers really are expecting? I think that's where the question remains today. How much needs to be developed that consumers are happy with, right? Is it the entire package, every single situation, every single scenario that you can think of? Or is it 80% of it, and that's like more than what consumers are asking for?
and I would say too, maybe you could even tier that and create levels of what a consumer would want and might be willing to pay, and give more choice.
Do you, this is a silly one, but do you remember when Nissan rolled out their, what was it called? It was their drive assistance program. It literally was the first time it felt like, oh my gosh, this car's like driving itself, because it would center and it would, adaptive cruise. It was early in those days. And a lot of people have those features and say their car drives itself, right? So at what's that level where you hit the peak of maximum utility, maximum satisfaction from a customer and what they're asking for? Yeah. Okay, let's head out, and we'll let them keep going and doing their thing, and then we'll wrap this up outside because I've got a few thoughts. So that was a pretty well curated loop. There's no doubt about that. But that said, I think that my expectations were certainly blown away. Certainly expected a lot more jerky, a lot of steering corrections along the way, and certainly the braking. But none of that really existed, which was surprising. It was also cool to see that the system itself is making decisions on its own, that in some cases it would turn right on red after stopping, and sometimes it wouldn't. So the software itself is already starting to make those types of decisions before this thing is rolled out. Another interesting tidbit that I just found out, thanks to Jeeves for mentioning this, but we're going from 100,000 miles of map roads to 3 million miles of map roads. And that means that this system is made to operate on 3 million miles of map roads, which is a big deal because that means this software is going to be able to operate probably everywhere that you're going to go in one of these vehicles. Obviously, there's going to be some exceptions to that. But the question remains today, how automated does FSD need to be to make consumers feel excited about their car driving itself? Does it need to go from your driveway to a specific parking spot at the grocery store, or is getting out of your neighborhood, starting on the main road, getting to the parking lot good enough? And I think we're going to start to see more companies approach it in that way, more so than every situation in city streets. And that's certainly what we're seeing here. It doesn't mean it's not going to continue to evolve, improve, and get better, but I think that this is going to make a lot of people happy. And quite honestly, I still hear from people that say my car drives itself today, and it's literally just centering itself in the lane and adaptive cruise control. So a lot of people think that's a car driving itself. This is something far superior to that. Still has some room to grow, still has some development to go. But if you think about the context of how quickly their software went from what it was 2 months ago to today, it's almost unbelievable. I'm thinking back to the early days, like V10 in FSD and all the jerky reactions. And this thing actually, although again, it was a curated route, there were a few challenges along the way that were interesting to see how the vehicle would handle those situations, whether it was construction zone, cones up in the road, whether it was yielding at a light, speed bumps, all those things. It was really interesting to see how it's handling those situations from the get-go. That, in my opinion, is the power of AI and how quickly they're going to be able to develop this software, probably much faster than most people realize. A lot of people say Rivian is 2 years behind Tesla. I don't think that's actually the case here. Certainly, full self-driving is a more advanced system and can handle more situations, but this, what it just did, was nowhere near 2 years behind where FSD is today with Tesla. So right here in Tesla's backyard in Palo Alto, Rivian showcasing what they've got. I can't thank them enough for inviting me out to check it out for myself. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to catch you on the next one.